Okay, what's going on here? All right. Hey there, guys and gals, friends and foes. Welcome to a very special event on Back of the Cereal Box. I am the prophet of pop culture, John Pica. You can call me Johnny. And along with me is my good buddy, Lucas Leverett. There's no qualifier there, Lucas. There's no nickname. He is the radical liberal in my life. But check him out at lucasleverett.com. And we're going to let a few people come in. We got a comment already. So this is a very special live stream this evening. We're going to reveal our brand new logo for Back of the Cereal Box. And Cindy Kep is here with us. Hello, Cindy. She's waving. I'm glad to see you here. For those of you who are watching, you can post a comment, ask a question, but more importantly, share this video right now with everybody you know, because over the next few minutes, we want to get people in and excited. And so let's talk about that. I was looking for this. This all came about tonight. This all came about because I created a makeshift logo just to have something to put out there, to put on iTunes and on Spotify and whatnot. But, it was never the final goal. And I was like, okay, I need a really solid professional logo. And so I went where everybody goes. I went to Fiverr and got ripped off.
Shame on you.
Yeah. I didn't even get a product. But I spent some money, and I ranted about it on social media, and Lucas was like, well, if someone
only
who does
you
this
knew a
professional.
guy.
Yeah, if only you knew a guy. And, I don't know why I didn't think of that, because Lucas had done our Supervillain Summit logos and had done a lot of great branding with Hypericon.
I played with Summit. I think Blake produced it, but I played with Summit. But I did rebrand Hypericon, and then the nerd logo lineage kind of basically the mid-state nerd scene is littered with my graphic design work.
That's right.
Over the last 20 years. And that's why I chose not to have a quippy subtitle today. I figured I might as well drop in my professional identity in case somebody likes the work. But it's a fun crossover. I always really like when I can do something that's nerd and uses my daily skills.
Yeah. So Michael McKenzie Mitchell said, "Hi guys, thought I'd drop in before I leave for work." Well, stay safe down in downtown Nashville. Michael is
going to be cold tonight, brother.
It is. Yeah, it is.
Stay in the truck.
Glad you're with us, Michael. So Lucas reminded me that he is an amazing designer, an amazing branding specialist. And so I said, well, let's talk about this. And so we talked a little bit back and forth, and then he was a guest on the show. And I think that's when you really got a feel for what I was going for.
Yeah, I don't like to see friends suffer the consequences of a ripoff. I mean, we can make fun of the commoditization and cheapening of my profession by the internet and diss on Fiverr all day long, but really there's a place for that for some people. I carry a chip on my shoulder about it because I've seen a lot of people make bad choices that bit them later. They got work, like they didn't get ripped off like you did. You got straight scammed, but
right.
They get something, they don't love it, and then they have to spend money later to fix it. I've been, my most recent job that reduced the marketing team down to like one or two people. They valued one of these $1,000 online logo joints over their own internal team, and we had to kind of inherit some frankly, some garbage that they purchased from somebody in who knows what corner of the world, not the United States, who was working for Beans doing, a corporate logo that would be used to make millions. And that person would only ever get $1,000. And then the internal talent still had to take it and tweak it and get it done. So I don't love those models. And when I see a friend ending up victimized by that ecosystem, I couldn't resist to say, hey, man, I'd love to help you out. But I had a feel for it. You're right. Once I got to sit in and see how it goes, I got the vibe. And it really clicked in my head. I had some idea. I think I already, I let the cat out of the bag with you before we met up to finalize. That I've got some great ideas, but I'm going to make you sit down in person before you get to see.
Yeah. So Michael Eaton, who's also a branding expert, graphic designer, says scope creep nightmares. I'm sure Lucas has some great stories like all designers.
Yeah.
LOL. Glad you found an awesome designer, bro. Yeah. Well, and I didn't find Lucas necessarily. Lucas has been in my sphere of influence forever and worked on other projects. I just don't know why I didn't go to you first. It just like I had a brain cramp.
I've done the same thing for other stuff. I mean, I know people that are handy with all sorts of things that I end up kind of banging my head against the wall and only to find out, oh, yeah, that's right. I know somebody that's really good at that. I like to be useful to the community. I like to be able to touch a fandom design every couple years. It's something that I like to have in the mix. I mean, I've done some stuff that's business oriented, but still nerdy. Yours kind of reminded me of the fun I had with a guy that ran an online Pops store, and it was called Weeby Toys. And we got to make a little cartoon rocket ship, and it was a lot of fun. Because I occasionally I have a lawyer. Lawyer logo is not going to be as fun. So it was a nice diversion to play with. And the other brand that you've seen that I can't show off, but the fairy hair project, that one is wrapped up. I was actually working on yours and that one, two nerd / geekery / fantasy / comic kind of vibe feels all at the same time. It was really fun to mess with. And I need to be sure you get to see that final here in a little while.
Yeah.
I think you're going to dig it.
That. Yeah. So I want to kind of fill our audience in because we got some people watching who may not have seen our Saturday morning show. The whole idea came to me a few years ago when I was doing a show called Comic Extravaganza, and Dee Barty and I won 2 episodes. We did cereal tastings, and it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of reaction to those, and when I was recovering from COVID recently in the hospital, I was like, how cool would that be if we did a video podcast where we just sat down with a big bowl of cereal on a Saturday morning and talked about geek pop culture. Right. Kind of reliving my Saturday mornings as a kid in some ways. You plop down on the couch in the virtual living room and you got cartoons playing in the back. And, after the cartoons, you watch NWA wrestling with Jim Cornette and Tony Schiavone. And then you hop on your bike and you either, go down to your best friend's house or they come over to your house. You play Atari 2600. You get sick on pizza, microwave pizza. And it just... I wanted to recapture that in some regards, but from an adult perspective. So,
right.
So we talk about geek culture, comic books, and toys, and video games, and board games, and movies, and this Saturday we're going to be talking about how awesome Cobra Kai was, and how awesome WandaVision is going to be coming up next week, and I'll be giving a movie review on Shadow in the Cloud, and just talking board games, and this is one of the commercials we run during the show to give you an idea of the humor. This episode is brought to you by Hot Sockets. They're so good they'll leave you speechless and possibly unconscious.
That's part of the vibe that I really love. I already saw a lot of your topics. I would pop in and watch, or I'd go back and watch, and the fun that can be had with the approach that you're taking is pretty unique. And I mean, there are a lot of talking head nerd video content options in the world, right? I mean, you can sling a dead cat on the internet and hit Nerdist or Heavy Spoilers or one of these many shows where people talk. But to have just kind of the fun and the whimsy of it, and that ad is fun because any kind of parody stuff like that always reminds me of the early work when because I've been involved in Dragon Con for a long time, and I worked 19 years of Dragon Con before attending 2, and then no one attended anything last year. But we formed Dragon Con TV, which the people that attend Dragon Con know Dragon Con TV is line entertainment or room entertainment or whatever. But in the very fledgling years, it was just a small band of rebels within the tech department that tried to launch a little bit of video enhancement. And we used to make stills of ads like that. I did so many like Sopranos styled, like, Skywalkers as a Sopranos style logo.
Okay, yeah.
Like instead of a gun, there was a lightsaber handle, and just I did a NASCAR ship as part of a Babylon 5, a Battlestar meets NASCAR mashup where we took a ship and then we put like sponsors all over it. I mean, just fun, whimsical nerd humor in still images always appeals to me. So,
well, and
I'm
Cindy Kep just asked, what was your favorite 2600 game of choice? Pitfall was one of the best games. Michael Eaton says, before I leave, I have a question for Lucas. Looking to get his opinion on Affinity versus Photoshop Illustrator. Any pros or cons considering switching over?
I'm a creature of a lot of habit. I have been fortunate enough to almost never pay for Adobe. Whether I was I think I might have paid for a student version, back in the day when they were separate and they were like $99 or something, or maybe I just had a demo. I've been extremely fortunate. I've very much rarely or never paid for Photoshop. Or any Adobe suite. So I don't have to weigh the cost in most cases because I've been involved with something where I was provided a team membership. That's been the fortune of my career and continues to be that way, but I would actually gladly pay for it now that the model has been worked out the way it is. It's not ridiculous for my profession to have that equipment. So I've never spent any time comparing much of anything. I've compared the open source illustration and photo manipulation software that's been around for years here and there. And I just can't learn where that stuff sits in most cases. There was a series of software titles under the Aviary banner that I tried to look at. And I've tried to entertain the thought, but honestly, I've been around for so much Photoshop. I've been using Photoshop since version 3 or 4. So it's hard to break the habits, even though Adobe screws up stuff left and right, and I want to scream at them and throw things, and there are all kinds of problems. But it's the tool I know. So I really don't have an opinion to answer that question with, unfortunately, because I'm an old hat of routine.
Well, that is a great question, though, Michael, and appreciate you asking that and participating. Sorry to see you go, because we're going to talk about what Lucas created. And I'm going to show the little icon that's in the corner. I've already started using this on Instagram. We posted it as an ad. And this was an ancillary piece that Lucas created. Just kind of, and let me get rid of that comment. Sorry. So this was just a side piece that you created for fun, but it is awesome and people love it.
Good.
So, Lucas really took the cereal box concept, the back of the cereal box, and he created the nutrition values for the podcast. And you'll see serving size, 1 hour, 60 minutes. The percentage daily value, film and TV, 100, comics and books, 100%, games and loot, 100%. And I love that. I fell in love with that instantly. So we, as soon as he sent me the packet, This was the first thing that I went ahead and used to just kind of whet the appetite of everyone. And Lucas, I know that this is a simple piece, but the idea behind it is just so brilliant.
Thank you.
And this is something to be proud of, I think.
It was riffing on all those themes. It kind of works so well because who's not familiar with that, right?
Yeah.
And the idea of junk food cereal that you're kind of themed on, it's such a fun thing to use because this label in any context of the back of these cereal boxes would be a horrific example of chemicals and lacking in the proper approach to nutrition. So it's a great way to embrace that crippled notion.
Well, that's funny because this last episode, I broke open a box of caramel Apple Jacks.
Oh,
and I
wow.
love Apple Jacks, and I thought, ooh, caramel Apple Jacks, that's going to be awesome. And the first thing I do when I open a box of cereal is I smell it because I love the smell of cereal in the morning. It smells like victory. And but what I was smelling was not what I was expecting. It smelled like caramel apples with a faint hint of chemical. So I was like, this has a very chemical smell. Let's see how it tastes. It tasted fine. Did not taste like it smelled, but I thought that was interesting. So Michael Eaton says he loves this piece. Cindy Kef says it's very cool. And Lucas, before we do the big reveal, anything else you want to mention about this process?
It was all looking at cereal and what matches up with the cereal concept, and then those bars that you're going to see in the full integration, that's RGB, because that's where our media is. I mean, even if you go into the 8-bit video game retro era of some of the subject matter, RGB color seemed to be a place to really hang the hat on the concept. So that kind of got blended in, and the fine-tuned version you and I have finally settled in on, I think, really pulls that concept together.
Yeah. I love what you did. And let's see. Michael Eaton says, be cool to have a tagline, let's see what's inside, referring to the toy in the box. That was one of my favorite things about eating cereal in the morning. That is a great idea, Michael. And that's something we will definitely use for sure.
Sounds like some good ad copy.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. Well, without further ado, then I'm going to roll this logo reveal. Let me reduce this comment, and we're going to roll this. So, ladies and gentlemen, here is the new logo from beginning to final.
Ta-da!
That is awesome. I'm going to put that up as an overlay here. Oh, no, it's in the background.
Oops.
Can I move it to an overlay? Let's see. Can I just drag it and drop it in? Give me a second. This is easy to do. Maybe.
I was gonna say, it's going to have to be relatively simple and cool, because the StreamYard situation never ceases to amaze me how it really works.
Yeah, something. This is weird, though. No, I don't want MP. Oh, I'm putting it in the wrong place. That's why. It's trying to find an MP4 video, but I don't want to put it in the video section. I want to put it in the overlay section. Here we go. There it is. And there it is. And I love that it is transparent too. How cool is that? That's awesome. Awesome. And we got some more comments here. Cindy Kep says snazzy. Michael Eaton says triple stroke, nice. And Michael Eaton says great rebrand, guys, and many applauds. Yes, thank you. The minute Lucas showed me this one, and there was one other that was in the running, I was just over the moon, and I had to let some friends vote. I guess I should give credit to Jason Swank of Rebel Force Radio. Rebel Force Radio is the most listened to Star Wars podcast, and Jason Swank, the creator of that, is one of my oldest friends. And I was talking to him about this project, and I said, what would be a good title for this podcast? And he said, Back of the Cereal Box. I was like, boom, that's it. So he gave me the title, and then I found images to create a makeshift logo, and then and then Lucas just took it to the next level. But one of the logos that you had created, Lucas, had the Indiana Jones typeface, and that was very cool. But I let everybody vote, all of the co-hosts in the cast, and my buddy Jason Swank, since he created the name, and the one that came back overwhelmingly was this one.
Well, and I think the one that was styled after the adventure text had this triple border. And you jumped in on the triple border because you totally picked up what I was laying down there, which was that retro vibe, that front of the box vibe.
Yep.
And then you liked the general layout of this version, but maybe we combine those effects, and that's where we landed here. And then, as you and I discussed, and some people probably noticed it on this one, it's not like this on the box because the little box has to be friendly to looking correct on Instagram as a square. But this one has an uneven offset of all of those strokes because those cereal boxes and old school prints always had a misalignment. Everything, it wasn't always perfect. So this has that illusion to, hey, this is a little off whack. And it also seems that it's traveling in a certain direction instead of coming straight at you. So there's a lot of detail built into that thought process. It's actually, it's not hard stuff to do. It's just that thinking through, like, what was this like in the 80s when it was bad printing on boxes, and what kind of motion can we imply, and that sort of thing. Well,
and that illusion of motion, along with the fact that if you'll look, you'll notice that the lettering is, askew, creating this motion. You got the cereal flying out of the ball or out of the bowl, and all of the lettering is a little bit tilted or skew. That has messed with me putting this logo on other things that have straight lines. Because I'm like, oh wait, no, it's not really crooked. That's how it's supposed to look.
Yeah.
So
it's all kind of a mess, which is sort of the idea of plopping down in the floor and making that mess with your Lucky Charms or whatever.
Now, one of the things a lot of people may not realize, the kind of thought that goes into this. The subtitle, a pop culture podcast, that's all lowercase lettering, which I really like. But why all lowercase?
There's a whimsy, a non-seriousness to lowercase, and I tend to implement lowercase in some places that people might not expect it. This seems like it worked perfectly and would be expected. Once the border went on there, I really enjoyed the way that the ripples and curves hugged it, from the fact that it's got all those lowercase letters, dropping in, creating an irregularity. But I've used lowercase letters in some interesting places to relieve pressure. Capitals can be pressurized. So, people that a lot of people don't know, even on my liberal side of the fence, but I designed the Tennessee Democratic Party logo, and it's all lowercase, and it was designed right after the 2008 election. And it was, the concept was to try to take the seriousness off of politics to make it more everyman, regular people stuff. So it's an all lowercase construct. And it's interesting to me. It's fascinating to me that it's endured, because I scream about them a lot and condemn stupidity that I see them engage in, and talk about my disappointments in things that they do. And you would think that they would be like, oh, well, screw this guy, we're going to get a new logo. But I guess it speaks to the strength of it. They must like it. And I've seen it adopted by county parties and kind of tweaked for different people's colors. And it's kind of neat. But that was a place where I implemented lowercase that really worked. And there are a lot of places where lowercase makes all the difference, or it can go the wrong way. It can make all the difference in the wrong direction. That logo I mentioned earlier that the previous employer I worked for, it came in as a capital letter with lowercase. And the final version that came out of the art staff inside the company was an all uppercase because of the strength. But this seemed like a great place for whimsy. If these letters were all blocked and in line, I don't think that it would be as friendly. They're only fun because they're giant and they're heavy, but they're falling all over the place.
Kind of like me.
I don't know, man. I finally hopped on a scale to discover my COVID-29. So I got work to do.
You gained 29. I lost 30 during COVID.
Well, good for you, but I think you qualified for it in a different way than I did.
Yeah. I got a bonus prize that I got the antibodies.
Right.
Afterward. So anyway, that is the new logo for Back of the Cereal Box. I'm super excited about it. And I've already been producing new video clips from our road trip from last weekend that I've had to hold off on uploading to YouTube until tonight because I didn't want to spoil the surprise. So that's it. Oh, but we do have one other sponsor, Lucas. I've started a new program to teach ventriloquism. So you too can be a ventriloquist during this unprecedented time. You can learn in only one day. It's never been easier. Only $49.95. Complete instructions, but dummies not included.
That's pretty funny. That's actually a brilliant somebody should actually do that. Somebody should just start now doing ventriloquism with masks because they can.
You know what? Ooh. You just gave me a great idea for this Saturday. Uh-oh. Tune in to this Saturday show when we will have a brand new co-host, Eduardo.
Oh, boy.
It's going to be right. I promise. Cindy Kep says most excellent. And Lucas, I told you we'd keep you 30 minutes and we're at 28. So
good deal.
Yeah. So guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching the new logo reveal. And if you are looking for, some great rebranding content, definitely check out Lucas and his work, lucasleverett.com.
And we can work from scratch too. It doesn't have to be a rebrand. It'd be whatever.
Yeah, his rates are gonna blow your mind because he probably charges too little. Truthfully, Lucas,
I reevaluated a lot of it, and I try to be fair. I've got a pricing structure that's based on geographics because I don't want to license to people. I don't want to hope that you'll be honest when you make $1 million in 10 years with my logo. I'd rather get the money up front and make it fair. So I try to just look at what the scope of the business is.
That's fantastic. And he'll do an awesome job for you. And definitely stay away from Fiverr. Well, Lucas, thank you so much. And
thank you.
I owe you another dinner, and we'll do that soon. Actually, you know what? You want to go on a road trip with us to the drive-in movie theater?
That's a question we can entertain. There are a lot of variables.
It's going to be fun. That's all I got to say.
Drive-in sounds like a perfect thing to do in these times. Maybe not necessarily in this weather, but we'll see how it goes.
Well, no, you're in your car. You got
That's
the
true.
heater going. All the sound is coming through your car sound system.
Yeah, that's true. I was thinking too old school with the windows down.
Yeah. We're past that.
Yep.
That. So anyway, guys, tune in this Saturday, 8 a.m. Eastern or 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Central to Back of the Cereal Box here on YouTube, Facebook, or wherever you are watching right now. And until then, love you, mean it. Catch you on the flip side.